friendship, the kinship that you meet in the fire department.
Right.
We're brothers and sisters, and we don't have to be blood brothers or sisters, but relationships that even through the years is still important.
Yes. What does this man? What don't you do?
Sleep.
Welcome to the Firehouse, the show dedicated to the brave men and women who serve our community.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Firehouse on WRHU 88.7 FM. I am your host, Chris Moses, and today, sitting with me in the Firehouse is, I'm just going to say, just the mayor. Listen, y'all don't even understand. Like, I'm looking at his bio. We're talking EMT, pastor, firefighter. I mean, numerous boards that you've been on, chairs of boards. Oh, wow. Like, wow. What's going on?
Well, listen, I'm glad to be here. Absolutely.
Wow. I was like, I'm reading it, and I'm like, what does this man, what don't you do?
Sleep. That's what I don't do.
That's it. That's what you don't do. All right. So do me a quick favor. I know I kind of told a little bit, but if you could tell everybody your name, tell them what department you're in, what department you're in, what company you're in, and how long you've been in, and any ranks that you've held within that fire service.
Sure. Well, listen, Waylyn Hobbs, mayor of the Village of Hempstead.
There we go.
Right now,
Boo, 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 boo.
I am a member, still an active member of the Hempstead Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay.
With Truck Company 1.
There we go.
Which I'm proud to be a member of.
Hub is in the
company.
building.
Yes. I also was the lieutenant of Truck 1.
Okay.
I actually started in 1980 in fire service, volunteering. 1980, I was an explorer in Elmont Fire Department.
Okay.
And once I graduated high school, I became a member of the Elmont Fire Department Rescue Company. So my fire service started in 1980.
So what are we looking at? That's like 40 something. Is it even more than that?
I don't want to count. It's been a while.
It goes like that, right?
Yeah.
We're talking over 40 years that you've been in the fire services.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. After leaving Elmont, of course, going away to school and things like that. Coming back to Hempstead, I started with the Hempstead Fire Department. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the exact year, but at that time, the rescue squad was having an issue getting out. They was having issues retaining members. And so, I've always been EMT-CC. At that time, before it was either paramedic or basic, I was EMT critical care technician. And so I joined the Hempstead Rescue Squad to get that back up active and going. I was captain of the squad. It grew. And the competition was great as far as getting those EMTs and EMT-CCs to be on top of the game because, we all wanted to make sure that, we outshine one another.
That's how it is.
In providing services, in those days, we got some good calls, whether it was motor vehicle accident, cardiac arrest. Actually, I received 2 life-saving awards.
Yep, I got that on there. We're going to talk about that because I want to get those stories.
Yeah, so, and then from there, but the difference with Hempstead than Elmont that I didn't realize at the time was Hempstead has a rescue squad, not rescue company. So I was used to doing the whole firefighter,
everything,
and
doing the EMT, everything. It's a squad, versus just a company that's all they do is run that. But just for our listeners, that's the difference from the squad to the company. The company is only running those EMT calls, and that's it, pretty much, right?
No, the squad.
The squad is only running those, versus the company.
Company is, you also do firefighting.
You do both.
Also, both.
You came from just doing that to now.
Yeah, just the EMT, which like I said, I wanted to help build it back up. But then the firefighter part of me was kind of bored. It's like, listen, I'm not doing the firefighter portion, and, just sitting on the outside waiting for folks.
Waiting for it.
So I wound up joining Truck Company 1 then, and then, just becoming a firefighter. The only thing downsides of that was I had to actually start my percentage over.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
How about probation and all of that? You got
it's like starting over. Yeah.
All right, so before we even get into more of that, let's start from like the beginnings. First of all, we're talking over 40 years of fire service, so I know you got some stories, and we're gonna get into some stories, right? Because I want some good stories of some things that have happened. But just let's start from the beginning. Like, what makes you even want to be an EMT? What makes you want to be a firefighter? Like, people don't just wake up and want to run into burning buildings or, you know, do this job. Like, what made you want to do this? Do you have family that was doing this or what?
No, you know what? To be honest with you, it was an old television show called Emergency.
I know that.
Squad 51, right? And so it was that television show that really got me interested in both wanting to do paramedic and firefighter.
Okay.
So, you know, basically that was my motivation.
That was your motivation.
Yeah.
You know, so from when you were a kid seeing that show,
Absolutely.
growing up, you're like, I could do this. I want to do this.
Yeah. And that's how it was. And so I didn't want to pursue professionally, you know, firefighter career-wise, because my background is investigation, right?
Okay.
And so that was my thing. But I was able to volunteer, so I was able to get that, you know, still do that same thing.
Get a little bit of that taste over here, but still do what you're doing there. Yeah. So let's kind of skip forward. You said Elmont was it Elmont, did you say?
Elmont,
Elmont, in
1980.
1980 in Elmont. You get to Hempstead, right? What makes you join in Hempstead? Is that where you lived at the time? Is that why you joined the Hempstead?
Well, listen, born and raised in Hempstead.
Okay.
I actually, you know, I grew up in Hempstead. I went through the Hempstead School District up into middle school.
Okay.
And then that's when we moved to Elmont, you know, and I graduated from Swanica High School. Once I graduated from Swanica, we moved back to Hempstead.
Okay.
And so, you know, I know everybody, and a lot of the village workers are firefighters.
Yeah.
And at the time, I used to be the supervisor of code enforcement, right?
Okay.
And so, you know, many of the workers like, oh man, you should join the fire department, because they knew I was, you know, used to be in the Elmont Fire Department. And that's really what happened. Just the coworkers convincing me to join the fire department.
Yeah, so that's really was. They convinced you and was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do it. So now I got to ask the question, right? Because we have some questions later about this, but what makes you pick the truck company? Why not engine? Why that? What made you? Was it just people there, or?
Well, so coming from a rescue company, right? The truck company worked sort of
similar,
Pretty
right?
Much
the same thing.
Search and rescue, right? Ventilation and things like that. So that's why I picked the truck company. And I actually had an opportunity, you know, to go around to the different companies. Truck One was a company that, you know, we just, you know, you felt that this is my company, and that's how I joined.
There we go. All right. I love that. All right. So listen, like I said, you know, over 40 years of service within the fire department, right? I know you got some stories, man. I know you got some stories. I
have a couple, yes.
All right. So wait, before we get into that story, we got to talk about the fact that you are the mayor, you know, of the village of Hempstead. Where does this piece fit in to this entire life? Like, right, where does this fit in? Because if you said you was doing code enforcement, you're really into investigation, you wanted to be a firefighter, yet you didn't go into that professionally. You ended up being so how does that come in? And where does that even start? Like, how do you just say, wait, I'm going to be a mayor? Like,
well, you know, so I blame the fire department, to be honest with you.
There we go.
So listen, I joined Hempstead Fire Department again at the time the rescue company was hurting, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to give back to my community. I lived there, you know, I'm successful. Politics was not on my scope or range at all. But as I'm working with the fire department, volunteering with the fire department, and noticing that in our community, in my opinion, that, you know, we deserve better. You know, the fire department really wasn't getting the equipment that it needed. And, you know, and so I said, listen, instead of being in a position to complain, let me be in a position that I can make a difference. And so that's how I got involved in politics. I said, listen, so instead of sitting back complaining, let me run for office and be in that position that I can make a difference.
So just for the people that are listening that don't understand, how does that happen? Like, who do you call? Is there a hotline to say, hey, I want to be mayor? Like, how does that happen? Who do you say to and say, you know what, I'm going to run for mayor? Like, how does that process work?
Well, so before...
In the heart of Blue Point, New York, the Johnny Mack Foundation stands as a beacon of hope and resilience, Founded in memory of FDNY firefighter John F. McNamara, who lost his life to 9/11 related cancer, this foundation embodies his enduring motto, whatever it takes. To supporting first responders and their families, the Johnny Mac Foundation is committed to making a long-lasting impact. Join us in honoring John's legacy and making a difference. Visit at johnnymacfoundation.org to learn more and contribute.
Well, so before running for mayor, in the village of Hempstead, which, by the way, is the largest village in the great state of New York, all right?
Wow.
The largest village in the state of New York. Before running for mayor, in Hempstead, we have mayor and trustees.
Okay.
In some places it's mayor and council members, but it's trustees.
Okay.
So I ran for trustee first.
Okay.
Before, jumping in for mayor, I actually ran for trustee. I ran with the former mayor, Wayne Hall.
Okay.
I ran on his ticket as a trustee.
Okay.
And then I think that was 2013. Once elected as trustee, which is 4-year terms, I served as his deputy mayor for 2 years.
Okay.
And so after serving, 4 years as a trustee, he ran again for re-election. And at that time, I did want to run for mayor, but I wasn't going to, run against somebody that I ran with.
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
So we ran and we lost,
Okay.
right? We lost to Mayor Ryan at the time, Don Ryan. And so what I did the following year, I ran back as a trustee and was reelected as trustee.
Okay.
Knowing now that my goal was to run for mayor.
Okay.
And so then
now you're looking at things different now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
And then after that, serving trustee for like 3 years. And then I ran for mayor and was elected mayor.
And then you were elected mayor.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. All right. So now we can get into these stories. I just needed a little background, right? First. So now we get into the stories. What stories do you have for me as a firefighter or even as an EMT that you've experienced?
Well, listen, in Elmont, I can tell you, I remember, and Elmont used to burn back in the days, like the 80s and stuff like that. But the motor vehicle accidents on the Southern State Parkway, there's a turn, we call it dead man turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, we had so many pin jobs and, extrication jobs. I remember that constantly responding to the Southern State Parkway on that, like I said, that dead man's curve where, we had to do major extrication and then also on the EMT side, starting IVs while you're inside a car while they're cutting the roof off and, and things like that.
Yeah.
And I remember quite a few working fires in Elmont, as a matter of fact, at Belmont Racetrack. I was on the fire department at that time when they had a major fire at the Belmont Racetrack.
One of the stables, one of the barns?
Not one of the stables, couple of the stables, yeah.
At the same
it was crazy, yeah.
Wow.
I'm also a licensed funeral director.
What I'm telling y'all, what doesn't he do?
And I remember this was in Elmont, but it was actually Franklin Square. There was a fire at one of the funeral homes. I can't remember the funeral home right off of Hempstead Turnpike. And that was like the weirdest thing, you're putting out the fire in the funeral home and like all these bodies.
It's right there.
Yeah. So, that was like a weird experience, things like that. But I tell you what, I remember as a probationary firefighter, back in the days in the 80s, you talking about fire service academy and all that. No, those old firefighters used to tell you, oh, you don't need to put on this, take this mask off. Real firefighters, you breathe in the smoke.
You breathe in with smoke eaters is what we called them.
Absolutely.
Smoke eaters.
Yeah, and I'm choking to death and all that,
Trying to keep up with them with a turnout coat and boots on. And that's
Absolutely.
it.
So we had, the boots that, you fold down and, so back then the gear was different and stuff like that. But, just it was an experience. I'm glad to see the evolution in training and protective equipment better than we had back in those days. And I think it's important. And listen, as much as people want to be macho, whatever, listen, you got to protect yourself.
Got to. It's different things burning Even then,
absolutely.
back then, like even though we talked about smoke eaters and everything like that, things that were burning were just wood.
Right.
Was just that. Now you got these plastics, all this stuff.
Absolutely.
You don't. You want to go ahead and be tough.
Yeah.
Go ahead and be tough, and you will be in the hospital.
Right. Better safe than sorry.
Right.
Listen, when you and I'm always flying, going places, and when you get on the plane, the flight attendant always makes this announcement, right? In the unlikely event that we lose cabin pressure, an oxygen mask will deploy.
That's right.
Put your mask on first before helping somebody else. And so even in the fire service, you have to protect yourself because you're not going to do your community any good if you don't protect yourself.
Or you become a part of the problem now.
Absolutely. Yes.
You become a part of the problem, and now you just made it even worse. So I got to ask another question too, which is, it's funny. I thought about it as we're talking. Fire department, we have meetings. We have that. We have our general meetings and everything like that. We have our company meetings. How does that work as the mayor, right? Because if I actually live in the village of Hempstead, right? So if I'm a Uniondale firefighter, but if I was there and I saw a problem, I'd be like, Waylyn is right here. You know how we are in the fire department. You come to the meeting, like, how does that even work? How do you, I guess the question I'm asking is, how do you separate the two without still helping and doing that, but understanding, to separate?
Well, listen, it's having that balance, right? Before I was mayor, I was a member of Truck Company 1, and they know me as Waylyn before mayor, and company meetings, even today, is still my outlet, right? Dealing with everything that I deal with. When I go to my company meetings, not only are we taking care of business, but it's that brotherhood, that friendship. You know what I'm saying? Listen, we argue, we fight, but we're still family. You understand what I'm saying? And so I try to make sure that we keep that same sort of a relationship going. I don't want them to just look at me as mayor. And listen, there are times that we've had disagreements to the next level. But I don't flex my muscles as mayor. I flex my muscles as Waylyn.
As being there as a senior member.
Absolutely,
I got muscle here too. I'm a senior member. So y'all sit down.
Yeah, so mayor has nothing to do with it. And and that's important. I just, listen, I think that the fire department, people have come so sensitive. I'm used to a different department, like I said, where, you duke it out and shake hands next.
And then it's over with.
Yeah. Now you got EOC and this and that.
A lot of different things. You're like, wait, hold on. It's not the same.
Absolutely.
Everyone always says that. It's not the same. All right, so let's just keep going into let's go into a little bit of family life, because you're married, right? Yeah. How many kids you have?
I have one son and 2 daughters.
And you have a wife, and I heard that she's a veteran, right?
Yep, she's a retired lieutenant commander of the Navy. She is a surgical nurse at St. Francis Hospital.
Okay, I gotta ask you how that. What's your wife's name?
Donna.
How does that work with Donna as a veteran? I know she is no joke in that house.
Well, listen.
She's how does that work?
Well, listen, I'm glad that I give her props for serving our country and everything that she does. But there is a part of me that she also knows. So she already knows how you.
So,
absolutely.
Y'all work together good though. I love that.
It
must be a lot for those kids.
No,
they got 2 people that are there. There's no joke. You make sure you do this, right? We got structure in here.
Structure is important, but listen, I must admit, I believe that we spoiled our kids. Because as a parent, you always want to be able to do more for your kids than you had, right? But I also teach them balance. Like in my house, no one pays rent, no cell phone bill, no car payment, but you have to work.
That's right.
You're not paying rent, you're not paying the car payment, but you're going to work. You're going to save up money so that when it's time for you to get your own, you'll have it. And so we try to, teach that balance. You're fortunate enough that you don't have to pay rent.
Yep.
You don't have to pay a car payment. but you need to work. You need
That's
to,
right.
go to school, get your education, and so
Make sure you do it.
we push
Make
that.
sure you do it right. So shout out to the Hobbs family, definitely for always supporting you with all the things that you do. I know
Yes.
that they do that. All right, so let's get into another story, right? Let's get into the Life-Saving Star Award. Like, how do you get that? What happened? What was the scenario?
Well,
And when was this? Is this like, when was this? When, like, time frame?
This was it was Hempstead. I can't. It was when I was in the rescue squad. So I was
Okay, so it was in the beginning. It's in the beginning of Hempstead.
In the
Got
beginning
you.
of
Okay.
Hempstead. I wasn't even a member of Truck One. There was a call for a cardiac arrest.
Okay.
And when we responded to the house, the patient was in the basement. So we came in. Of course, they started CPR. I hooked up an IV. Got on the radio with NYCOM, and the doctor, pushed the drugs that was necessary.
Was that, sorry to cut you off, was that your first cardiac arrest, or you've already dealt
No,
with
that
it before?
I've done it before.
So when you come into this, you already know what's going on.
Yeah.
You already got
It
Okay.
wasn't my first cardiac
Okay,
arrest.
keep going.
Yeah, and fortunately, it wasn't. It was. I think at that time it was VFib, I believe. So it was something that could be corrected.
Yes.
With the right
Yeah.
medicine and things like that. And when we got to the hospital, we had a stable heartbeat, and that's how I got that.
And then you got that award from
Absolutely,
that. Well,
yeah.
listen, thank you for what you do.
Well, and listen, I also have to thank the chief at the time, because you have to be recommended. Whoever the chief is, the officer.
Yeah, got you.
Because
Yep.
there are plenty times, based on the narrative, there are people that get pushed out of the way when they should have got the award.
When they should have got the award themselves.
Yeah.
So true. So true. So true. All right. So let's keep going here. I want to talk a little bit about, and just a little bit, because you said that you are a pastor.
Yes.
So, right. And you have your doctorate too.
Yes,
right.
I do.
So
yeah.
let's talk a little bit about those.
Sure.
Like, how do you get into being a well, first of all, you don't sleep, because it's impossible. Well, it's possible with all that you do. Like, when do you even have a chance to sleep? But
yeah,
let's talk a little bit about that. Like, how do you get into that? And where does that fall into firefighter, mayor, EMT?
So I've been pastoring now for 31 years. 31 years in Brooklyn and Coney Island.
Okay.
Actually, there was just recently I think it was or something that did a story on one of our members that a Lifetime story, something like that.
Okay.
And so when I went to Coney Island 31 years ago, Coney Island was, like a blighted community. Empty lots, burnt out buildings. It was, shootings every other day. And at that time, 31 years ago, I had no intentions at all wanting to pastor. All right. I've always, been into ministry, because I'm, always in helping people. I started with a community choir. It used to be called the Long Island Workshop Choir.
Okay.
So I had a community choir, and I was happy doing that. But I filled in at the time for my former pastor, Reverend Howell, that was the pastor of the Faith Baptist Church in Hempstead. And when he couldn't make it somewhere, he used to send me. And when I went there, they hadn't had a pastor for like 2 years. And they asked me, would you consider being the pastor? I was like, nah, no, thank you. That's just not my, that's not what not my thing. But after really thinking about it, looking at the community, I said, you know what, I'll go ahead and give it a shot. And like I said, it's been 31 years. Wow, we've seen the whole community turn around, from abandoned buildings, empty lots, to now, skyscrapers, and just a whole thriving community. And that's one of the things that also motivated me in Hempstead, because I said, if I could see a community, of course, that I didn't live in, completely turn around and change, well, I want to see that for the community that I lived in. I was fortunate enough, because of my career, my wife's career, to be able to, move from our starter home to, a nice home on Cathedral Avenue. But I wanted to see that ability for everybody in my community.
That's right.
Not just me. Let's see everybody have an opportunity for better. And so that was also what got me involved with politics.
What got you in there? Seeing that.
Yeah, seeing what we was able to do in Coney Island. And man, I tell you, I'm grateful for the 31 years of being there. I've seen people move from, poverty, drug dealers, to completely changing their life around. And so, those are some of the positive things that I could take away from the pastor portion of, serving for 31 years. And listen, I had plenty of opportunity back in those days to go other places, because when people see your success in areas that you do, it opened up other doors. And there were places like in Maryland, there was a church that had a congregation of like 5,000 that wanted me to come there, but I knew where I was called to help. Yeah. And so, it wasn't a job, it was a calling for me. It was
a calling for you.
Yep.
I love that. And then just talking about the homes in Hempstead, you just had mentioned that. Hempstead got some beautiful homes, and people don't I always tell, I see young people, I always tell them, come over to Hempstead. If you're going to start your life, come over here. You see these other places got these big houses. They also got to go look on Crunkshank. Go look on these blocks, these houses that are like mansions right? Yeah. I'm there. I'm on Brown. Mine's is not as big, but it's still good. It's still good. It's still a beautiful neighborhood where I live.
You listen, unfortunately, there has been just this negative view of Hempstead for so long. Mm-hmm. But like you said, Hempstead is one of the most diverse communities in Long Island. Mm-hmm. And the diversity also goes into the homes that you have. I'm on Cathedral Avenue, and people think that it's Garden City. You know what I'm saying? But it's Hempstead. It's Hempstead. Yep. And so that's one of the things I've been trying hard as mayor to do, is change the narrative of Hempstead. We've had too many people from the outside giving our narrative. It's time for us to speak up and let them know what Hempstead's really about.
Tell them know what's about. All right. So let's keep going. All right. I got a quick question for you. Let's get back to firefighting. Right. What is a common myth that you would want to debunk right now about firefighting that you hear?
A common myth
that you'd want to debunk. And we always hear different things about firefighters here and there. Any common myths that you would want to debunk right now?
It's hard to, because one common myth is, in order to do this, you got to be crazy, because where people are running out of burning buildings, we're running into burning buildings, and so no, you don't have to be crazy. You have to be trained and dedicated and committed to providing that service for your community. And I think that's important, although there might be a little truth to that.
A little bit, just a little bit.
But yeah, no, it's that, based on the training, based on knowing how to do things safely, it's very important. And I think a lot of people just think, these crazy guys just running into burning buildings. No.
And that's not it. Yeah. It's relying on your training. It's knowing what you're doing. You're not just running in there, not knowing what you're doing.
Right. and relying on the partner that you're going in with. Right. That that person is going to be there to protect you if something goes north or south. That's right. Yep.
All right. So you know what we could do right now? We can get into a game that we call the flashover. All right. Okay. So the game that we play, we call it the flashover, right? I'll ask you two things like Android or Apple or something like that, right? And you got to give me an answer really quick. Okay. We may talk about it a little bit, but that's the premise of the game. All right. All right. So Mayor Waylyn Hobbs, truck one in the building. Are you ready for the flashover?
I guess.
Let's go. All right. You're at a parade. Do you drive the rig or drive the chief truck?
Drive the rig.
Driving the rig. All right, let's keep going. Brush fire or rockin' dumpster fire?
Which do I prefer?
Which one? You got to pick one. Which one? Brush fire, rockin' dumpster fire?
Rockin' dumpster fire.
Rockin' dumpster fire? Why fire? Why dumpster fire?
Well, because it's rocking, it's hot, but it's contained.
There you go. There you go. It's right there. You know you can take care of that.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Basement fire, warehouse fire?
Wow. Both, I would say.
And these are, you pull up to the firehouse. The chief is like, they're going this way. They're going this way. Which one are you going? Pick one. You got to go to basement fire or the warehouse fire.
To be honest, warehouse fire.
Warehouse fire.
Yeah.
Why that? Because that's.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's a larger space, right?
Mm-hmm.
It might be rocking more than the basement, but think about basement fire. A basement fire,
no joke.
It's no joke because you're going down
below
and
grade.
you can't go any lower. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
In a warehouse, there's always ways to
Yep.
get out. You know what I'm
Find
saying?
a way.
Find a
Yep.
way to get out. So
Find a
yeah,
way.
yeah. So,
So
you got to be very careful when it comes to basement fires. And people that's been in basement fires, I take my hat off because you know what you're getting when
Yeah,
you're going
it ain't no joke. Just getting down those stairs is like a chimney. All right, let's keep going. Confirmed car fire or automatic alarm with a light smoke condition. Confirmed fire or automatic alarm with a light smoke condition. Which one you going? Confirmed fire?
Yeah.
You're going right to the fire.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
it. We're going right there. All right, let's keep going. And you should know because you've been in for a while. Old school leather helmet or the modern composite? Which helmet we going with?
Old school leather helmet.
Old school leather, baby. It's heavy, but it's good.
Absolutely.
It's good. All right, let's keep going. Midnight call or 5 a.m. call? Which one? Which one is your midnight calls or the morning calls?
Midnight. It's at midnight.
Midnight?
To be honest with you, both. You know
Both.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're going to do the job.
Do the job. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Gonna do the job.
Yeah, do the job.
All right. You pull up to a scene, right? Chief is there. You got which you are one of those old salty vets, but do you go down that hallway with an old salty vet or do you take the rookie with you? Chief says pick one. You want to go with this guy? He's got 20 years or you want to go with this guy? He's got 2 months. Which one we doing?
Well, I would take
rockin' house fire or basement, whatever you want to call it.
I'm
Which one
going with the old vet, the salty.
You
And as much as the rookie needs to be trained, but when it hits the fan, I need somebody that I know. Yeah,
that you know. There we go. So you picking that old salty vet.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go. Pick your punishment: summer heat and gear, or winter cold and wet boots.
Winter cold and wet boots. You know why? Because I'm a winter person.
So
listen, I love the cold. So that's
so you'll deal with it.
Yeah,
you'll deal with
yeah.
it. Okay, so you'll deal with it. All right. Let's keep going. Since you are an EMT, right? Let's ask some of those EMT questions. Okay. So
all right.
Trauma call or medical call?
Trauma
Okay.
call. And let me clarify this. I'm no longer an EMT. I've let my stuff expire, and I used to also be a skills evaluator for VEEPS.
Yeah. So
I
these questions you
but it's been
definitely
a while,
gonna know.
all right? Yeah,
it's definitely gonna know. All right. So when you were an EMT-CC and you were practicing, would you rather drive the rig, drive the ambulance, or did you want to be in the back doing patient care?
in the back.
Be in the back doing patient care.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Always doing that. All right. Last EMT question. Right? So put on that EMT hat. You are at a call. You pull up, right? Over here, they're doing CPR on somebody. Over here, somebody's about to have a baby. Chief says, pick one. I need you to go which side. Which one you going?
Delivering the baby? Absolutely. Absolutely. And listen, and that call is because I would hope that they're able to resuscitate and save this person, but you're bringing in a whole new life where someone's already experienced life,
All right. Now, within the flashover, we play a game called Suspended or Not. So I need you to put on that lieutenant hat, right? Okay. Because you said you was lieutenant, right? Yes. All right. So basically the question is the answer is suspended or not. I'll give you some scenarios. You tell me suspended or not.
Okay.
All right? All right. Here we go. You're at a call. All-out fist fight, 2 members. Suspended or not?
Suspended.
That's it. They're
That's
going.
it.
So you can't be fighting in there.
No.
Can't be doing that. All right. Now, pull up to your firehouse, truck 1. You are the lieutenant, right? Entire front window completely busted out because 2 guys were with pike poles playing Jedis. Suspended or not?
Not.
Not.
No.
Not going to suspend them?
No.
All right.
Going to deal with them, but not suspend them.
But not suspend them. They're going to deal with it. Okay. Another one. Let's put on the same hat, right? You're at a call and you have a disagreement with the chauffeur. Not like the fist fight all out there. Nobody really knows, but y'all have a disagreement. After the call is over, you're walking past the rig and he lays on the horn. Suspended or not?
Not. He's an a-hole, but there's no need to suspend.
No need to suspend.
Right,
okay, all right. I like that. All right, so now let's get into some TV shows and some movies, okay? We're going to end the flashover on those. If you haven't seen it, just say I haven't seen it. But if you have, you got to pick one, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's go. Chicago Fire, Rescue Me.
Chicago Fire.
All right. Chicago Fire, third watch.
Third watch.
Backdraft, ladder 49.
Backdraft.
Got to tell me why. Why backdraft over ladder 49?
To me,
Mm-hmm.
I feel it was more realistic. You know what I'm saying? Showing that how from 1 second things go from where you think you have control.
There you go. So that's what you mean by more realistic.
More
you
realistic,
think you have that control,
absolutely,
and
you don't.
You don't.
Yep, absolutely.
You don't. All right. So last question, and the most important question I am going to ask today. I kind of know the answer, but let's see what you say.
Okay.
Engine or truck?
Truck
all day. Ooh, truck in the building.
Yes, sir.
I love it. So have you ever thought about going into an engine company, or it's always been?
It's always.
and then at this moment, you're not like, I'm not switching to.
No, it's always been truck company.
Okay,
yeah,
always
now,
been
you
truck.
know, listen, I'm grateful for all the hoses and all that other stuff, but
But you get in there. I can't listen. I'm an engine guy. But I respect it. I understand.
We appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it. Listen, we need somebody to put the fire out too.
That's right. But we need somebody to tell us where it is. We need somebody to go in there and show me where it is. So that's the beauty of the fire service. We work together. Even though, we go back and forth and engine truck, it doesn't matter. Right. Without each other, we can't do the job.
Absolutely.
So we cannot do the job. So true. All right. So before we gotta get out of here, I just want to ask you a question when it comes to just your life as a volunteer firefighter, like being in for as long as you have been in. How has it changed your life?
I believe that it's changed my life by giving back to the community, right?
Okay.
Getting that fulfillment of giving back to your community, serving the community that you grew up, where has benefited me in a great way. Just Hempstead has been good to me. You know what I'm saying? When I look at my career and even as mayor, so to be able to give back to that community that have given me so much, I appreciate that. And then the friendship, the kinship that you meet in the fire department. Right. We're brothers and sisters, and we don't have to be blood brothers or sisters, but relationships that even through the years is still important. Yes. I know in Elmont, people, many who have retired, like Joe Sato, who used to be with the fire marshal, Sue Lund, that was fire marshal and also a dispatcher in Hempstead. We still keep in contact. We still have those relationships, and it's so important.
And it's so important. I love that. Just for someone that's listening, I got two questions, but the first question is just about being a trustee, being mayor. Like, if you have someone that's listening to the show right now and they're thinking of getting into that, how do you do that? What would be their first steps to get into, I guess, politics and kind of giving back to the community in that way?
Right. So if you're going to run for an elected office, you have to be 18 years or older. Okay. You have to be a resident of whatever community you're running for office. Okay. And have no felonies. Okay. And so the first thing that you have to do is get signatures in order to be on the ballot. Okay. And so based on the size of your community, that's how many signatures you have to get. And so say, for example, I'm just using this for example, if we have to get 100 signatures, you need to go for at least 500 signatures. Okay. And
those signatures are just saying that the community wants you here.
Right. That I support this person to run for whatever that office is. Okay. And then once you're on the ballot, then there's an election, a general election. Okay. And of course, the person that gets the most votes, that's the person that's elected to that office. And so, but of course, you're going to have to raise funds in order to get pamphlets and flyers and billboards and all that. Yeah. That's all a part of, running for office. I like to tell people all the time that I'm an elected official. I'm not really a politician because I don't play the political games good. It don't work well with me. Yeah, because politics can be nasty. And so I always like to say I'm an elected official. I'm elected to serve the residents of the village of Hempstead, and that's my goal. Politics, you can keep it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing it for my own self-gain. I'm doing to see the betterment of my community. So, I don't play the games that come with politics.
So I know there's election, I guess, coming up November 4th.
November 4th, yes.
But do you run for anything there? Like, how does that how is your term, and how does that, because I know that's going to be the questions people are going to wonder, like, do I vote for him on the 4th? Like, No,
so I just was reelected in March of this year.
Okay.
And it's 4-year term. So
Okay.
I have 4 more years before I have to run again.
Before you have to run again.
So.
Okay. And then how about this? Like, with other towns, are there other mayors of other villages like, how does that work? Like, yeah, just for the people that don't understand, like, because I know there's a town, there's a village, there's this, and there's different. I don't think there's mayors of a town, but there's mayors of a village. So you could kind of explain a little bit of that so they can understand.
So in Nassau County, we have several layers of government in Nassau County. So we have the county, which is the county executive, right? And then after county comes town officials.
Okay.
Town of Hempstead, we have the town supervisor.
Okay.
Then after town, then you have your villages and you have some cities. And the village and cities have mayors.
Okay.
In Long Island. And so that's the difference. The town doesn't have a mayor, it has a supervisor. So anything that's in the town of Hempstead, like Baldwin, Uniondale, these places don't have a mayor. But when you look at places like Freeport, which is a village, it has a mayor. Hempstead has a mayor. The city of Long Beach has a mayor. The Rockville Center has a mayor. So there's different levels of government in Nassau County.
Okay. So just for the listeners that didn't understand that, I wanted to kind of put that out there so they understand how that kind of goes and who they should be voting for and things like that, right? They look at those different things because all those things impact you.
Absolutely. And listen, local elections are the most powerful.
Huge.
And many times, and I'm glad you said it, because many times people will call Village of Hempstead complaining about things that's really a town of Hempstead thing. They just think that because it's Hempstead and I'm the mayor of Hempstead, that I'm the mayor of the town of Hempstead. No, I'm only the mayor of the village of Hempstead.
There you go. You're right.
Yeah. So, but we've had people from Baldwin call sometime complaining. I'm like, no, I'm not your mayor.
It happens. I've made that mistake when I first called. I was calling to get a special pickup, and I kept calling the town. And they're like, dude, you got to call the village. You got to call the village. So I get that. I just wanted to make sure that people understood that. And like you said, local elections is so important.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll see people that stand on the line for the president and vote for that, but then don't vote for your own school board, your own mayors. And these are the things that affect you like
every
100%.
day. Absolutely. Right in your face every day. So that's important.
So that's super important. All right. So last question that I have for you. If there's someone that is listening right now and they're thinking about joining the fire department, what type of advice, and both, someone that's thinking about joining and then someone that's in and maybe only have a month or two in, what type of advice, as a senior member of Truck One, what type of advice would you want to give them?
Well, I would advise them to, first of all, understand the time commitment that comes with even volunteering. Because you have to be trained, right?
That's right.
Then there's a percentage that you have to make a certain amount of calls. So there is a big requirement of a lot of your time, even volunteering in the first portion of joining the fire department, because the longer you're in, the percentage go down. One of the things that, I'm working on as mayor and working with our commissioners and our investigation committee is making the applications more accessible.
Okay.
Because instead of what takes like a 3-month process, you should be able to pick up an application at one of the firehouses, not waiting to meet with the investigative committee, or you should be able to go online and get an application.
That's right.
And having more information available, like when you pick up an application, this is what you need. Because when you look at things like, say, pistol permit, right?
Yep.
Before you even go take the application to the county, they already tell you what you need. And I think instead of waiting for a person to have to come before an investigative committee to find out what you need, they should already know all that. So to shorten the process, because I think that's a deterrent sometimes with people. It's like, oh my God, I got to
go through all of this. I'm trying to get my time.
Right.
And you got me going through all of this. You know what?
Absolutely.
Forget
it. Yeah. So, trying to make the application process easier. And then to remind people the benefits of volunteering, you can get a tax break, right? Because there's that exemption for being a volunteer firefighter, and the free training for EMT, then now you could get a paid job as EMT. So there's some benefits.
There's some benefits. So for my people that's listening or in there, stick with it or come on down. Come on fine. Absolutely. I think it's Nassau's bravest.com or something like that. I think that's the website that they go to find what town or
Absolutely.
whatever, or, you know, wherever you're at, what village, whatever, and then you can join that local fire department.
But if you live in the village of Hempstead, you don't have to go to bravest.com. All you have to do is come to 75 Clinton Avenue.
Come on down.
Come on down. Absolutely.
Come on down. All right. So listen, is there anything that I'm forgetting? Is there anything that as mayor, you know, of Village of Hempstead that you're working on right now or anything like that you want to talk about, that you want, listeners to know? Sure.
Listen, just making Hempstead a safe place and a good place for all the residents of the Village of Hempstead. We're now working on close to $60 million renovation of our whole water plant facility.
Wow.
To make sure that we deal with the 1.4 dioxin, which is in water in Long Island, making those improvements. We're changing the pool at Kennedy Park, almost a $10 million project to have a new pool house, a new pool. And so, you know, in Hempstead, just making positive changes in the Village of Hempstead, watching crime go down in the 4 years that I've been mayor. Happy to say that we've seen crime drop tremendously in the Village of Hempstead. That's by investing in equipment and the things necessary to provide public safety.
To do that. Yep. I love it. And again, as you know, people that live in the Village of Hempstead, the only way to get things fixed, the only way to do things is to say something, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Is to do that. Example, I had one of my street lights out and I'm one of, don't say nothing, they'll come around and do it. But as soon as I called, within, less than a month, they came there, LED one. Now I'm complaining more because now it's shining through my shining through my room, but it's working. It was dark. It was nothing. And I'm like, we need some light here. They put it in there, but now it's a brand new one. But it's more about talking and saying something.
Absolutely.
And people like you will be there to say, hey, I'm here to help you out in this community.
Yeah, and in the Village of Hempstead, we have what is called the My Hempstead app. So you go to your app store, you download that My Hempstead app, and you can complain, make that complaint about street light out or a pothole. And
we're going to post it right here during post-production, so y'all will see it.
Absolutely,
because make sure we see
a ticket is generated, and anytime you post something on that app, whether it's a pothole or a street light, I get that information. So I get to see if they're responding in enough time. So and I tell people all the time, or call my office. You might not speak to me, but you can leave that message. Hey, tell the mayor that this street light has been out for almost a month, or this abandoned property is not being taken care of, because the only way that I can fix it, I have to know about it.
There we go. I love that. And what was the name of the app, just so everybody knows?
My Hempstead.
My Hempstead app. And very responsive. I've reached out to him for things, and always with you don't expect to always get right back. And it's like, this is the mayor talking to me. He emailed me right back. I talked to him. He emailed me. I think I emailed you about the Neurodiagnostic Week and the proclamation. You got right back to me. And I'll be honest to everybody. Like, you would think, like, when you reach out to the mayor, you're like, they're not going to get back to me. He gets back to you.
Absolutely.
He gets back to you. Someone from his office gets back to you where you'll get that. You're like, wow, okay, it was quick. So
well, listen, that's
your job.
That's my job. Simple as that. That's what we do. And I tell people all the time, listen, you're not bothering me. That's my job.
Yeah.
Give me that information, because it helps me provide the services. Otherwise, I'm going to look bad. If I don't know that there's a pothole and it's not being fixed, it's going to make me look bad.
That's right.
Keep calling.
I like it. Here we go. Listen. Thank you so much for coming down to the Firehouse and just telling us everything. And you said you just got in, so we got you for another 4 years.
Yes, another 4 years.
So y'all get on that app. Y'all need something, reach out. He's there to help y'all. All right. So thank you. Listen, everybody, we just heard from Mayor Waylyn Hobbs. This is Hempstead Fire Department Truck 1 in the building. Listen, we talked about his life as a firefighter. I hope you all enjoyed this conversation. Please like, share, subscribe, do all of those things. I'm your host, Chris Moses, and please tune in next week to another great conversation in the Firehouse.